Hello and welcome back to the Digital Marketing Podcast. My name is Ciaran Rogers.
I'm Louise Crossley.
And I'm Daniel Rolls.
And today we are discussing effective YouTube channels.
Okay, before we get on to effective YouTube channels, the eagle-eyed amongst you, assuming you're watching this on YouTube, because no matter how eagle-eyed you are, if you're listening to this, you're not going to see this. But we have relaunched our brand. So
Yay.
Target Internet is still Target Internet. Digital Marketing Podcast is still the Digital Marketing Podcast, but all the visual aspects of the brand have been changed. For those watching, you can see it up here behind us, but you'll see it everywhere. So the website has been rebranded. The old, what we used to call monkey sick yellow of the Digital Marketing Podcast is gone. I'm very grateful to say.
Happy to see it go.
Yeah, very happy to see
it go. It was a cheap way of getting attention in the early days.
It was a bit needy and thirsty.
I picked it because like no one else uses that yellow. Yeah, there's a reason for that, Ciaran.
So just to explain, we've been working with a branding agency called Wildish and Co. We have been through this whole really in-depth process of defining the brand, building brand guidelines. If I look back historically how Target Internet came about, the original version was done by me in PowerPoint, which was just shocking. Then we had a designer that we worked with that was pretty early in his career, did some things for us. I'm trying to think of the right word without swearing, basically gradually destroyed it by doing presentations that had like changed versions of it and all these kind of things.
Discombobulated.
Yeah, discombobulated is a good word. And then we were like, okay, now's the time to actually invest. We're a big enough brand now that we can go off and do this properly. So we are going to do a separate episode about this whole how you rebrand. We'll do some interviews with Wildish and things like that because it's a really interesting process.
The journey.
Yeah, it really was a journey.
Yeah,
as
it
well.
was.
And it's hard.
Yeah.
Because I saw the new brand, I was like, I don't like it. And then it got refunded. I was like, I love it now.
You turned up to a meeting and you just come out from the branding agency.
I was traumatized.
You look like you've been doing 50 rounds with a gorilla.
Yeah, it was really
beaten man.
Because it was my baby kind of thing. And then for it to change has been quite difficult. But I'm really, really pleased with the results. It works from a website, it works from the podcast, but it also works from kind of e-learning, which is a really important thing for us as well. So if you're listening, go and have a check out targetinternet.com and let us know what you think. As ever, targetinternet.com/podcast. You'll get the show notes, but there's a contact form.
Give it some space to breathe. Give it some space to let it grow on you.
Yeah. I love it now. I love it.
Yeah, it does. It really does. Yeah.
So anyway, we'll come back to that. But yeah, for those that have noticed. Okay, so we are going to talk about effective YouTube channels. And I think we need to start with what does effective actually mean? Because if you're not careful, you go down the YouTube road of it's all about how many views. It's all about how many subscribers. And those are really important metrics. But if you go down that route, you'll end up all of your thumbnails looking like someone pulling a stupid face and pointing above them.
Very cheesy.
Yeah, and have this like flashy kind of like shocking clickbait title. And that's great. It does work. But it won't be on brand for most brands from that point of view.
Does it though? Does it attract the right? Is attention always a good thing if it's the wrong sort of attention?
And not if it's the wrong people.
I've seen there's some really great channels that I really respect, but you look at their thumbnails and they are dumbing themselves down, and I don't think that's cool.
Yeah, and we've had a debate about this, and I think it's that
because everybody's doing that because that's the way you get attention on YouTube.
And I think it does work in a lot of ways, but also, if that's not your brand, you shouldn't be doing that. But
also, there's only so many ways you can look shocked and horrid. When you see the thumbnails all up against one another, because you look at all the videos, it's like, oh my goodness, these people are nuts.
Yeah, it's
a crazy world.
Yeah, and I think that's fine if you're a Mr. Beast and you are just trying to get as many views as possible and you're doing stunts and all those, then great, okay, that matches your brand.
Don't get me wrong, I mean, I love it because this face was made for that. I can do, wow. Well, you can do all of that. And if you're listening, you need to watch the video for that last
I would advise against that. I've seen that face to face if I'm entirely honest. The whole pantomime Dame thing came out.
Yeah.
So what the thing is, stick with your brand, right? Try and be kind of consistent. Don't necessarily go down that route of just following. Effective, what it means to us is getting the right audience, giving them value via the content so they like our brand, right? So if we can get the answers to questions or we can get the podcast in front of the right people, then they're going to see value in that brand. They're more likely to visit the website. They're more likely to go on and subscribe to our online learning platform. So the value is build the community, build engagement with the right people and provide value to them. But in order for that, I've got to get discovered. So I've got to be visible. I've got to be findable from that point of view. So that's when we come to the algorithm and understanding the algorithm and looking at those kind of metrics. the way the algorithm works, there are a number of different factors which we'll kind of go through. What's interesting to me is things like, likes and views are fairly obvious that you want more of those kind of things. But actually, what it really looks like YouTube are really focusing on more is two key metrics. One is retention. So how long through your video are people watching? But what you've got to remember with that is if you've got a 30-second video, it's quite easy to get 50% retention. Okay. Whereas if you're doing 40-minute videos like we are occasionally with the podcast, 50% retention is a lot harder. So they're also looking at duration, those kind of things. What you don't want is lots and lots of people watching your videos and dropping out really quickly. So for example, if you have a jingle at the beginning that goes on for 15 seconds, people just tune out. Even 5 seconds.
This is true of every medium, not just YouTube.
Yeah, that's very true.
I sit with podcasts all the time. It's like because they're focused on it and it's a new thing. Everybody's really pleased with the new jingle. And actually, when we first started doing this, our jingle was a lot longer, wasn't it?
Cut it right down and what we also do now is we do in this video we'll be talking about, then we do the jingle, and then we cut through. And actually, on the videos, the Q&A videos that we do, no jingle at all, just literally straight into the content.
Just the words "so." That's it.
Yeah,
Can't get more minimum than that.
This is what we're going to answer the question. So I think be a bit brave about the format sometimes. And don't assume that the standard way of doing it is going to work from that point.
No one cares about your jingle. That's not why they're there. So people don't go on YouTube to watch jingles.
I think there's a branding consistency issue, but I think you're absolutely right. The other really important metric was velocity. So just to explain. So VidIQ is a tool that we use to help with our YouTube channel. Brilliant tool. And VidIQ will allow you to see. So you go to a video and it's got 3 million views. And you think, wow, that's a lot. But the video's 2 years old. Is it that it had all its views in the first couple of months and then no one's watching anymore? Or the velocity is at what rate is it getting views? And what it will show you is how many views on day 1, day 7, day 14 after the first month. And then it will give you a chart of that, but it will also allow you to compare that to the average for your channel. That becomes really valuable because you can see, is this video performing? Because it always takes a while to build up. So does that curve match what our previous videos done, or is it outperforming? And you always want to be outperforming what you've done previously. And you can see then, okay, the more retention we get, the more velocity we're getting, the more likely YouTube is to recommend this content. The thumbnail then becomes important because people, do they notice it? Does it look it's going to provide value? And it becomes a bit of a virtuous circle at that point as well.
So with VidIQ, is all of this information free?
No. So there is some of it that's free. But in the paid for version, you're going to get your own stuff. I think we pay $30 a month for our subscription.
But worth doing.
Yeah, it's fully usable on the free version. You get a ton of value from the free version.
Yeah, there's really good stuff.
With the paid version, you get all sorts of extra things. Like you can do keyword research specifically on YouTube. It's so useful.
We set it up, we were paying for it. And I was looking going, is this it? Logged into VidIQ. I was like, well, it's all right. There's a bit of keyword research stuff, but I'm not that impressed. What you then realise is you go to YouTube and it adds loads of stuff onto the page and you go, oh, that's where all the data is. And I completely missed this throughout the first 3 weeks. Why does Ciaran keep going on about this tool? I don't rate it at all. Maybe he's got shares. But I didn't think that, don't worry. But
I don't actually own any shares.
There you go. Yeah. So the reality is that it's a great tool. It will give you keyword research, but it will give you velocity metrics. It will also talk about how well optimized the video is in terms of some of the things they think impact the algorithm. How many Facebook likes it's got. So if you upload it into Facebook, you boost it and it gets those likes, that can have an impact. Reddit mentions.
Yeah.
So YouTube is looking a bit at Reddit and seeing what conversations are happening.
And you end up sort of trying to work out which way to go with this. Because like on the one hand, we know that if we upload a native video into Facebook, so it's Facebook native video, Facebook's going to favor that more. But if you want your video to rank well on YouTube, you want to pop it up on YouTube and then share that on Facebook. And then finally, a use for a Facebook like campaign. Like, because that's what, like, why do we want likes in a video? Because that gets us more views and more visibility on YouTube. Like, who knew that was a thing? Well, VidIQ did. Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely worth looking at that social sharing side of it. There's some obvious things as well. The title of the video, making sure you've got words and phrases there that people are searching for. The transcription's important. Don't rely on automatic transcriptions. Actually go through it, because YouTube get them wrong a lot, quite hilariously. So go through and upload your transcription. Tools like Descript will allow you to do that.
File name, just because it's hidden, doesn't mean it's not important.
No, that's very true. So what you actually name your video files themselves are important. So all that kind of like basic SEO stuff that we used to worry about is really important to YouTube still to make it discoverable. Then you can add keywords to your videos, and YouTube kind of downplays this quite a lot, saying you should only do it if we wouldn't really work this out. There's no harm in doing it.
They call them tags.
Yeah, exactly. And you can go through with VidIQ and it will suggest all the tags and you can just add them all in one place automatically. Yeah. So that's pretty useful as well.
Try and avoid single word tags.
Yep.
Just because people don't tend to search on single word keyword. Like go for the phrases that people would search for. It's just the same way you would do with SEO, phrases.
Yeah, and keywordtool.io, this is one that you're using.
Yeah, right? So I like it because it's free to use. And you can search specifically on phrases that people are using to search YouTube. Yeah. It does a ton of other, it's really good. There is a paid version, of course, there always is, where you actually get to see the volume data. Now, if you're paying for VidIQ, you get this data in the back end. So just dig into it and you can do your keyword research there and get that specifically.
The other one to be careful, which I'm a big fan of keywords everywhere, because keywords everywhere, you put into Google Chrome and it all over the different places, it gives you search volume. The problem with YouTube is that it will give you search volume, but it's Google search volume.
Yeah.
So it's telling you like relative search volume, but it's not telling you how many searches are actually going on YouTube.
No, it does.
Oh, is it giving you that as well now? Yeah. Okay, fine.
No, so keywords everywhere does, and VidIQ does.
Fine.
Uber Suggest doesn't.
No, fine. Okay.
And actually, Neil, if you're listening, Uber Suggest's way too tight on the free usage. Like literally, you get like one search now. He's really bottled it down. Right, It's like, oh man, that was
I'm sure he's done the testing to work out that's worth doing.
Has he? I don't know. Well, we'll have to get him on and find out.
Yeah, let's find out. But so I stand corrected. Keywords everywhere. Good for YouTube. Now, this happened the other day. It happened to you as well. So I was live demoing Google Trends. Yeah. And saying the problem with Google Trends is that it doesn't give you actual search volumes. It's relative volume.
Someone.
And I've got
what's that then?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's basically keywords everywhere now extend Google Trends to give you the actual volume data as well as the trend. So anyway. So there's a few tools out there that are going to give you the actual search volumes. Have a look at that. But also, I would say don't just go for what all these tools are suggesting. Oh, there's loads of search volume for this. Because what they won't tell you, which is always the problem with keyword research, is the stuff that is starting to emerge. And it's the stuff that's beginning of interest. So actually, I would think about using social media listening tools to see the conversations that are happening and then maybe start to create content that's reflective of those as well. Because you've got, yes, I can compete for this really, really big phrase that those people are searching for, but actually, are there smaller niches that I could dominate, like in other keyword research approaches?
Keywordtool.io uses hashtags, got hashtags,
nice.
And that's really, really nice. So yeah, no, definitely for YouTube, keywordtool.io, really, really good for YouTube specific stuff. But also, take a look at what hashtags and stuff people are using. They're not so common on YouTube, but they still get used. Yeah. Sometimes in the hashtag that can give you a key to just a key to sort of a phrase that's doing the rounds.
Yeah. So the other thing with this as well is that think about you're setting this up, and what you're normally trying to achieve at the beginning is 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of views in the last 12 months in order to monetize your channel. Now, what that means is that one, you can have ads showing if you want them to. But also you can add links to your videos and then you can start driving traffic back to your websites as well. So it gives you a bit more ability in those end cards and things like that. There's some more stuff that you can do with that as well.
Where do you sit on the whole allowing other people to put ads on your content?
I would say it depends on the brand, right? So if you're a creator and the whole thing is you're trying to monetize your channel and that's how you're making your living, then fine. I think that's kind of acceptable.
As long as you're not annoying your customers.
Yeah, and you probably will be because the way YouTube video ad work. But what I would say is if we're a brand, people are going to target digital marketing stuff at the people that are watching our videos, and we'll end up potentially with our competitors showing up on our videos, things like that. So from my point of view, keep it ad-free for us, because what we want is brand reputation and we want to drive traffic to the website because we want you to subscribe to our learning platform, right? So from that point of view, I would try not to do that as much as possible. But you still don't have 100% control. YouTube are showing ads where they want to show ads to some extent.
That reminds me, I think you had a tool where when you embed a YouTube video into your website, you can stop suggested videos.
Yeah. So this was when YouTube changed this, it was a black day.
Disclaimer: this may not be within the terms of service of putting YouTube players into your website.
Well, I don't know about that.
we'll find out.
Yeah, find out. Well, the product's called Killer Player.
Yep. And
what it does is you pay a one-off fee, and it enables you to put YouTube videos on your site, but it gives you a customized player. Which is nice. You can customize the colors and stuff. It looks that little bit more premium. It's always been one of my pet hates. Like YouTube, it's lovely branding stuff, but because it's free and everybody uses it, it does have that sort of cheapness about it. Yeah. So being a little bit more selective. So actually, it makes them look like Vimeo videos. But one of the lovely things it does is it removes all the, if people that watch this also like this.
Yeah, the recommendations.
Yeah,
is the problem.
it's the problem, because actually you used to be able to add some code to your embed within YouTube that prevented that if you wanted to. And they removed that a couple of years ago now. And for me, that was like, oh, okay, so I can't do YouTube videos. So this is a great way around that. And I think personally, I would say it's good for YouTube because it gets more of their, like more data for them on who's watching more videos. And it means that we can now still use YouTube videos on our websites without risking, leaking. Like, last thing I want is my competitors' videos to be showing up on my website.
Be recommended after.
And that's what you invite. YouTube will show whatever they've been looking at lots. And if they've been doing the rounds and doing research and looking at, it's exactly what you can have.
My personal feeling is that unless you're trying to build your YouTube channel, which is what we're trying to do at the moment, that you wouldn't embed YouTube videos into your website. You would use Vimeo or something else like that.
But now I can, because actually YouTube's got a brilliant content delivery network. Like
the streaming and all that kind of stuff is fantastic.
Yeah, and now I can use that. So how much longer it now work for? Who knows? Yeah, but it's a one-off fee, and I've liked it. I thought it was a very good product.
The other thing that we've really found makes difference, and this is with podcasts as well, is cadence. To be regular and just keep adding that content on a regular basis, that really seems to be building up. So what we've seen is this increasing growth in subscribers, and it becomes a bit of a virtuous circle. As you get more subscribers, they see more of your videos. That sends a signal to YouTube, these videos are popular, so they show them to more people. Then you get more subscribers, and it builds up. So don't be concerned if at the beginning you're posting videos, it's not getting much engagement or reach. You just have to keep going. And it's like going back to the podcast at the beginning. I think it was a good 18 months before I was convinced we had any listeners at all, just talking to ourselves. So I think it takes a while to build up, and then it snowballs. But by being consistent, that can have a big impact. So I think that's really important. So we would love to hear feedback on our YouTube channel, so youtube.com/target internet, but also your experiences of how you built your channels over a period of time.
I do this. Hit subscribe. Hit subscribe.
I'm going to do that thing. You can't see him pointing his fingers and pulling faces.
Down below. Where is it? Who knows? Yeah.
So this is the thing, right? What have you found that works? Is it just sticking to that tried and tested formula? Have you tried to make original and found that works? I love to think that we'll get to the point, just like search engine optimization, it's all about if you create great content, it kind of works.
Utopia.
It all feels a bit clickbaity to me still, but we'll see how it progresses. So let's hear your feedback as well. Thank you very much for listening to the Digital Marketing Podcast.
Please subscribe for more videos like this and visit targetinternet.com for more free digital marketing resources.